We got Sunday Night Football, the Los Angeles Rams versus San Francisco 49ers. 49ers coming off a game where they were physically dominated and frankly embarrassed, in my opinion. The Rams played okay, but it was a downpour, so we didn't really get the full force of the Rams. Cam Akers is back, murks up that whole running back situation. For me, Jared Goff, I like the look, we saw Miami take advantage of the secondary in San Francisco. They'll get better, but they did not play well against Miami. The Rams can take advantage of that on the sidelines. I think you got to start Darrell Henderson, but look, Cam Akers, he looked pretty good coming back off injury when he had a chance. You got Malcolm Brown still getting touches. It's just going to be murky. I don't love it any week, but if you're going to bet on one, bet on Henderson. I like Kupp. I actually like Woods more than Kupp this week. I don't like anybody else. David, what we were worried about before the season is coming true. Gerald Everett, I believe, has outproduced Higbee 2 of the weeks at least this season. I know Higbee went nuts weeks 1 and week 2.
It was just one, but he was close in one of the weeks. It was 2 receptions for 40 yards.
There you
for
go.
38. So they essentially tied one week. Everett was hurt the other week, and then Higbee did his big thing the one game Everett missed.
Yep. San Francisco, quick projections here. Mostert, nice to see him back in action. He was just, look, it wasn't, I think he had like 10 yards to carry, or like 9 yards to carry or something like that. I mean, it wasn't his lack of health or anything like that. It's just Miami went up and neutralized him, and they kind of got him out of the game. McKinnon, I think, is neutralized just a little bit, even though I like 2 backs in this system. This week, I don't like 2 backs. I don't love the matchup for San Francisco's offense outside of Kittle. You know, I'm benching Deebo, I'm benching Aiyuk, I'm benching everybody else. It's really Kittle, Mostert, and nobody else for me. Jimmy Garappolo, ouch. He looked worse than Mullins did 2 weeks ago. He was bad. Got benched. CJ Beathard might be the best quarterback on this roster. Yikes. Anyway, take it away, David.
I'm going to start right where you left off. I'm not panicking on Jimmy Garappolo. I mean, this one game, guys. He's coming back. Was he limited in practice the whole week?
Gosh,
I don't know.
he
He
was
missed
bad.
last week's game. He was awful.
No
plainly.
sugarcoating that. He was awful.
He was awful. But let's look at the bigger sample size here. He's been a solid quarterback with Kyle Shanahan. I think he's clearly the starter going forward. I think putting the quarterback in, the game was getting out of hand. And I do believe that they were trying to protect Jimmy G. So I'm not panicking on Jimmy G. I'm not panicking on this offense. I love the schedule of the second half of the year for them. The thing that I take away here is Raheem Mostert really is the guy they want to feature. It is a little concerning for McKinnon. Again, I'm not panicking. I'm probably using this as an opportunity to buy McKinnon because, again, people were just starting to get sold on him. So this down game, it's really going to put people off of McKinnon. There are going to be people willing to drop him, willing to just kind of toss him away for nothing. You look at how bad this offense performed this week. They didn't even get 175 passing yards in this game. You know, they didn't run the ball well at all. They didn't maintain possession at all. So we're not going to see weeks where Mostert only gets 11 carries, McKinnon only gets 1 carry. And McKinnon's still going to be involved as receiver. I think this is probably a good opportunity to buy low on every 49er. George Kittle, my friends, if you can go out and try and maybe make a play at George Kittle, I don't know. I would go ahead and see if I can try and do that. I don't know what you would offer. I mean,
you're right.
But if you can try and make a play and it's available, go ahead and try and do that. On the other side, the Rams. All I can do is grunt and moan about this team because Sean McVay is playing games with us, my friend. He's playing games with us. 1 week it's Malcolm Brown, then it's Darrell Henderson. And I made the Devontae Freeman, Tevin Coleman comparison 2 weeks ago. It looked good for a week. Last week it looked horrible. This week I'm starting to kind of re-get that feeling a little bit that Malcolm Brown's going to get pushed to the side. Henderson's going to kind of play that Devontae Freeman role where he'll get some goal line looks. He'll be the receiving back. And Cam Akers eventually probably going to settle into that Tevin Coleman role where he's going to be like the plotter. He's going to get most of the carries. He's not going to have a ton of receptions. I do think both Akers and Henderson over the next few weeks are going to emerge as 2 guys you can start. I don't think it'll be quite the level of when Devontae Freeman and Tevin Coleman in Atlanta were both really good starts, but I think they'll both be usable. It's a bit of a guessing game.
It is a guessing game. It's
hard. It's hard to start them with confidence because 1 week they're good, 1 week they're bad. So
and the Rams are playing great football too. And so there's no real need to go and do one of these things. You're almost waiting, kind of like in Baltimore we were just talking about earlier. You're waiting for one of these guys to get hurt so that you can go with one or the other or two of them and feel confident in it. But I agree. I think it's probably moving forward. I think it's Akers and Henderson are the ones that have the value there. But
which one would you rather own out of Akers and Henderson going forward?
To me, I feel like Henderson is the more physical back. And in this system, I know there's always a role for that. And so I think Henderson keeps Malcolm Brown off the field in strategic situations because he's better with his hands, which means McVay can, he can call a passing play from a run formation or vice versa. And Henderson can be that guy. I'm not as confident that Akers can do both of those things yet. But you can see his potential and his explosiveness. And, he almost reminds me, actually, as a body type, he reminds me a lot of Mostert. Cam Akers does. I think Mostert might be a little faster. I'm not sure on that. You might know better than me.
He's the fastest player in the NFL.
Who is Cam Akers?
No,
Mostert.
Mostert.
Yeah, I was going to say Mostert looks
has run
fast.
faster on any play than Raheem Mostert in the past 3 years.
You can see it. Yeah, I mean, you can see it when he gets into open field. Nobody can touch him. But
he's a track star, former track champion.
Yeah, I mean, like Akers. I like Akers. But I would pick Henderson. I think he's the safest guy, and he got the 2 touchdowns yesterday too. So
I think I'm in the same boat because Henderson is right now. He's getting the goal line work. Do we know if he's going to keep all of it? He might cede some of it to Cam Akers, but at least he's probably going to keep some of it. He's going to be involved around the goal, and he has the receiving role. So that's
it's kind of
important.
When you think about it, like opposing. This is probably one of the reasons why the Rams are so good situationally. Like last year, I think Sean McVay took a sabbatical mentally. I think last year I was very critical of him, but it's because I have such a high opinion this year. This year, well, like what do you do on the goal line if you're trying to defend the Rams? Because they can go 2 running back, 2 tight end, and they can call whatever they want. I mean, they could run either one of these running backs out to the slot. You could have Everett and Higbee. I mean, you can do whatever you want from a personnel standpoint in this offense, and it's very hard to defend. So the Rams are for real, man, and their defense is playing better every week too. Good team, man. 2 good teams.
And
Tough draw for San Fran.
Let me talk about Gerald Everett a little bit more because anybody who follows me knows I was about as anti-Higbee as you get coming into this
Same
year.
here.
And Gerald Everett, I mean, he's still nobody cares about him. They only care about him because he's taken away from Tyler Higbee. It seems like nobody still wants to give this guy credit that he might be usable too in fantasy. He got 4 for 90.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how many tight ends are available in a 12-team league right now that have even a single 90-yard game this year? Like, guys, stop being so dang picky. Like, the thing with Gerald Everett, you might not be able to start him right now. He might just be a stash, but this is a high-performing offense. Any one of Woods, Kupp, or Higbee goes down, Gerald Everett turns into what?
Yeah.
A top 8 tight end?
Yeah.
Like, the upside is crazy high here, guys. And if you're struggling at tight end, don't just go adding. I'd rather stash Everett than Hayden Hurst at this point. Because I want upside.
Yeah, I think you could definitely make that.
Guys. Yeah. None of these other tight ends are moving the needle. They'll get you through a week, and then the next week you're trying to find another tight end on waivers. You're just playing the streaming game until you end up pulling your hair out, picking the wrong guys every week. Like, stash some guys with some high upside: Robert Tonyan, Gerald Everett, Dallas Goedert. You only need one of them to hit.
Yeah,
so
right.
Just get the upside on your team because it's there. It's very much there with Gerald Everett.
Devil's advocate, and you and me are on the same boat with Hayden Hurst. Devil's advocate, with the change in coaching staff, do they dial up? I don't think the odds are good, but it's possible. So if you have them and have the space and don't have better options, I'm comfortable rostering Hurst for one more week. You get one more chance against the Minnesota Vikings to see if Derek Cutter can get Hurst in the end zone. But Hurst is kind of playing like a weenie, though. He's not playing physical. He gets roughed up the line of scrimmage. He's disappointing to watch. I've watched him enough. I'm just like, Anyway.
He's a check down. They're not trying to get him the ball. Gerald Everett, I've seen them give Gerald Everett a reverse before, so they want to get Gerald Everett the ball.
Yep, he has a rushing touchdown. Let me get you with the line here. The Rams -3.5 at San Francisco.
I almost want to say, how do you pick San Francisco? But this just screams every time we buy into the Rams, they seem to give us this letdown. So I'm gonna take San Francisco here just because I want to see the Rams stay hot.
I think it's a field goal game. I think the Rams win on the road, but I think San Francisco. Look, when you're playing a division opponent and you're at home and you're the underdog, like historically, like 65% of the time, the division opponent who is the underdog home team wins, at least against the spread. I'm going to take San Francisco to cover the spread. Their offense had better show up, though. But I think they will.